episode 18 of My Trucking Life. Truth, trucking, tribulations from the trucker's table. Well, as you can tell, I'm at the house. My hair is wet. We just went swimming with the puppy dogs. I got home. We finished up our trip around Wisconsin where we picked up. We made it back here to the house, and man, first thing I wanted to do when I got home was jump in that swimming pool. The weather was perfect, and so I got to swim around, play with the puppies some, and I'm gonna have to do some videoing of that sometimes with us playing with the puppy dogs in the swimming pool. There's something else. They love that water. Well, in episode 17 we left off. I was just about to go back truck driving with one of my former companies that I worked for, the last company I worked for before starting with Landstar back in 2013. Buddy Moore Trucking. I'd already called them. They said, come on up, we got a truck waiting for you. You just got to get on up here and fill out the paperwork. So I told Teresa, I said, I don't want to do it. I said, but I can't let us lose the house. You know, I got to do what I got to do to make a living to keep the house, you know. So I got everything ready to go up there, you know, and I get a phone call. It's from Ryder. You see the trucks going down the road all the time. Well, they have contracts with so many different companies to haul different kinds of freight. They have contracts with Diamond Chrysler, you know, to haul Jeep and Dodge parts, Mopar stuff. They have contracts with GMC and so many different companies. It's unreal. Anyway, they had an opening for a parts delivery guy. And basically what I would be doing is I'd leave Tallahassee, take not an empty trailer, a trailer with empty cages in it with return parts and stuff like that. I take that down to Ocala and swap out down there with the driver coming out of Orlando where the warehouse was, and he would bring me a loaded trailer. I'd take him the empties out of the trailer, and we just switch trailers. Basically is all it was. Drop and hook. I'd take the loaded trailer, he'd take the empty trailer. And then I would hit all the Dodge dealerships between in Gainesville, Lake City, Live Oak. Where's the other one? There's one more. Oh, Valdosta and Quitman, Georgia. And then I'd go back to Tallahassee and I'd pass the truck and trailer with the rest of the remaining parts off to another guy, and he would run between Tallahassee and Pensacola. And he would go to Tallahassee, Quincy, Panama City, Fort Walton, Milton, Florida, Pensacola, Florida, come back and hit Crestview on the way back, Florida, and then back to Tallahassee. And but anyway, let's talk about how I got the job. So what happened was, I get a call and they say, "Hey, can you come for a job interview?" And I said, "Sure. Doing what?" And he goes, "You know what I just described." And I said, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." Then I get another call because when I was applying, I actually applied for the same job twice. I applied for it once directly to Ryder, and the second time I applied for it unknowingly, I applied for the same job through a temporary agency. So I get the call from Ryder to go for the interview, and then I get a call from the temporary agency to go for the interview. I didn't know. I just want to make sure I got to an interview, you know. So I said, okay, and I went up there, and Ryder said it would be faster, quicker, easier for me to go and get started right away if I went ahead and went through the temporary agency. That way it would give them time to process all my paperwork, and then within a month or so they'd have me worked in as a regular Ryder employee, you know. So the name of the temp agency was Randstad, I think was the name of it. And so I made pretty good money through them, don't get me wrong, but they got a portion of the money as well, see. So, I got the actual hours I worked, you know. If I worked 10 hours, I got paid for 10. If I worked 12, I got 12, and so on, you know. Then once I became a Ryder employee, I just got a flat rate, 12 hours a day. And if I went over, I could put down, for overtime. But if I did it in 10 hours, I still got paid for 12, which was awesome. And the job was paying. It started out at $20 an hour. And by the time I left, I think I was making a little over $21 an hour. And so it was pretty good money. I liked it. And for around here, it was pretty good. And it was 5 days a week, So what happened was I went up there to a hotel lobby to interview with the guy. The guy's name was Tracy. He had moved down from Pennsylvania and took over down there for Ryder, for the account that this was on down there in Orlando. So he had lots of drivers underneath him and everything. And the driver up here, I guess, wasn't working out. So they were trying to get somebody new in there. And so I interviewed with him and I talked to him. And he said, "Tell me what happened with your last job." I looked at him. I said, "I can tell you, you're probably not going to believe me." And I said, "If you'll give me a piece of paper or something, I'll give you the phone number. You can call and talk to the guy, my boss, and he'll verify everything I'm fixing to tell you." And he'll even give me a glowing endorsement. I did a real good job for the company that I worked for previously. And I said it was just crazy circumstances that, why I had to leave. And I said, so I told him the whole story, what happened, them saying I had a gun when I didn't have a gun. And he goes, "Wow, man, that's crazy." I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "But I swear to God, it's true. If you don't believe me, here's the number. You can call the guy. He'll tell you exactly what I just told you." I said, and he's watched the videotape of it all, everything that happened. He saw everything happen. He heard everything that was happening. So he can definitely verify what happened. And he goes, "Well, I believe you." He said, "It's just crazy." I said, "Yeah." So he goes, "So when can you start?" I said, "Whenever you need me, I'm there." So it was right after Teresa's birthday. I started right before the 4th of July and ran, I think, right through July. And by the end of August, first week of August or so, I had got worked into as a Ryder regular employee. And then I got health insurance and dental and 401k and all that stuff, So it was a good job. I mean, I loved it because I was home every day. So I did that job running back and forth to Ocala. I did that for about almost 6 months. And the guy that I used to hand off to in Tallahassee, he hurt his back. Because when I first started doing the job, we would have pallets, big pallets of oil and antifreeze and stuff like that. And that stuff's heavy, man. Big ass pallet. And you're having to roll it with a pallet jack. Woo! Off the trailer lift gate. And then you'd have to sometimes push it like 30, 40 yards to get back to where the receiving parts department is at the dealerships, And over here in Tallahassee, it's kind of sloped. So he was trying to pull that. And why he was trying to pull, I don't know. I mean, you would think he'd have enough common sense to push. Don't pull. You kill yourself trying to pull it. I pushed. I got behind it, leaned into it, and pushed. It's the way I always did it. Actually, I went in there and took the forklift. I went and used the forklift. I don't know why he didn't have enough sense to jump on that forklift and just use that. So anyway, he hurt his back, and he was going to be out for a little while. So they brought a temp guy up from Orlando, temporary driver, fill-in driver, to work, like if you're on vacation or if you're out sick or something, they'll send a temp driver up from down in Orlando. He's kind of like a rover or something. He goes all over the place whenever somebody's on vacation or whatever's going on, and he fills in, So he was filling in up here. That dude, whoo, he was a piece of work, man. Whoo. He knew everything about everything. He knew the fastest way to run the route. You just think you knew. He knew. He knew everything. One of those guys. So we worked together for a couple of weeks or so, and then finally the guy came back. Gary came back to work. His back was better, and man, it wasn't maybe 2 nights. I think it was after 2 nights he blew his back out again, And when he went back this time, they said he ruptured a disc and he just couldn't come back. It's just too heavy a work for him to be able to do. So they sent the other guy up while they was trying to find somebody to take the job over permanently. Well, now that route going to Pensacola and back was a day. Well, it started at midnight and you got home at around noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. And then you're off the rest of the day and leave back out. But it paid more because you work more hours. The one going down there to Ocala and back, I think paid 10 hours. And then the one going over Pensacola and back paid 12, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's right. But anyway, it paid more. Plus, it was more of, it was half daytime, half nighttime. Because like I said, you started at midnight and finished up at around 1 in the afternoon. But it was good because I was home every night with my wife, Teresa, and I got to have dinner with her every night, and it was great. I loved it. The other job I had to leave every day around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. And so I never got really to sit down and enjoy any time with her because when I got back home early that morning, we'd pass each other. She'd be going to work and I'd be coming home, and we never saw each other. So this put us on the same kind of schedule together. What happened was, I told my boss, I said, hey, I've never ran Gary's route. I said, what do you think about me running it for a few days to get the hang of it in case I need to run it in case of an emergency or something. And then you can let, I think the guy's name was Charles, the temporary driver guy, that was the fill-in driver. I said, he can run my route. He knows how to do it. And then I'll run Gary's for a couple of days just to see if I can get the hang of it in case of emergency and you need me to run it for some reason, He said, hey, that's a good idea, man. So I started running it, and I never stopped. So they brought another guy in because that other guy, he said he hurt his back releasing the fifth wheel, pulling the thing. Anyway, I don't know. After I've hurt my back pouring antifreeze, I don't doubt anything anybody says no more when it comes to their back. But anyway, so they had to send somebody up here to get him, to take him back to Orlando and to drive his car back because he could not even drive or do anything. And they asked me about it, and I said, well, the last time I saw him, he jumped down out of the truck, ran and got in his car and left. That was the last time I seen him. So if he hurt his back, it must have been a delayed injury. So anyway, but they were just getting ready to fire him because he was doing something very stupid. Very stupid. And so they were getting ready to fire him. He was training a guy, and while he's training the guy, he's driving the truck. The training guy that's supposed to be learning is actually riding instead of driving. He's riding, and the trainer, the Charles guy, is driving. FaceTiming with his girlfriend. FaceTiming with his girlfriend while he's driving. One guy said he got scared. He thought he was going to wreck. So anyway, it got back to the boss what he was doing, and they were just about to fire him. And when he hurt his back, very convenient, huh? So anyway, that other guy took over, and he ran the route for, it seemed like a year almost before they finally hired somebody else to run the route. And then something crazy happened with the route. Something changed, and a new person got thrown into the mix. I'll tell you all about that on our next episode, because this guy here, I want to talk about this guy because he's a really cool cat, and I'm going to try my best to catch back up with him as soon as I can. But anyway, we'll talk about him and everything else that happened while I was at Ryder before I went on somewhere else. We'll talk about all that good stuff in the next episode of My Trucking Life. Truth, trucking, tribulations from the trucker's table. Y'all be safe. Have a great day. Of what's left of Happy Hump Day. Hump Day. Woo-hoo. All right. Y'all stay safe. We'll talk at you later.